Welcome to another edition of Raw Arsenal. In this video, we celebrate another 1-0 to the Arsenal. 1-0 to the Arsenal. Our last home game, playing against a side already condemned to relegation from the Premier League. We saw out a hard-fought 1-0 victory, which coulda, shoulda, woulda been a 3-0 victory if chances taken by Trossard, Eze, even Odegaard had been taken. With the injury of Ben White last weekend, we saw the reintroduction of Mosquera at right back. And what we saw was mainly positive things. I would stress, and it's a very important position, as we know, for upcoming matches. In particular, our final match of 2026 Champions League campaign. Havertz and Odegaard were awarded deservingly, I would add, with starts over Gyökeres and Lewis Skelly, given their ability last time round to pierce through the centre, create a chance for Leandro Trossard. Also started, of course, Saka on the right, Rice at the centre. Ever steady, ever reliable. I have to give credit to the commentator there, the official Arsenal commentator, who mentioned with great wisdom that the strategy is to not have a bad game. You're not always going to have a good game, but often what's in your control allows you to not have a bad game. And that's a formula for success that Arteta has followed to the letter. And perhaps we're about to see the first fruits of that after, what is it, the 6th year in the project. Behind Rice was, of course, ever reliable as well, Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba, who both deserve plaudits. Perhaps recognition as the best centre-back pairing in recent Premier League history. But the stats don't lie. I don't have some stats for you this moment, so I moved to left back. Ricardo Calafiori, one of my favorites, as you know, in terms of players for this team, because He's just a catalyst in so many moments for attack, organic attack down the left-hand side. And he pops up sometimes on the right-hand side. And that's driving defenders nuts. And in the first half, it drove defenders nuts because Calafiori is combining well with Trossard and Odegaard in particular, and Saka. Trossard with a few shimmies, dribbles towards the top of the box and slams one against the post. And then Saka, his combinations with Trossard, with Calafiori, Havertz, and Odegaard in particular. And we got to mention Mosquera, who looked the real deal in attack, delivering one or two good crosses in the match. Excellent crosses. But these guys on the right combine well. Saka hitting the side netting. Or overhitting slightly. Whizzing balls past the top left-hand side corner of the goal. He likes to do. Trossard regularly beating his man. And he had a difficult opponent today in uh, ex-Man City. His name eludes me, but ex-Man City right back. But it was Havertz who was to get on the scorecard after what may have been a penalty on another day. Saka wins a corner after being taken down in the box. And he did get to the ball first, that's what I'd say. And if you get to the ball first, someone stops you hitting the ball. Is that not a penalty? At least by the standard we're used to this year, last year. Of course, the standard changes year on year. But we don't get a penalty. We win a corner. Saka delivers excellent corner. High and to the center of the small penalty box. And Havertz rises highest, as he did, as he has done in time past, and nods them past the keeper easily. This is only after 35 minutes. And given how we had started in the first 35 minutes, I was expecting we would have been expecting more goals than that. Eze being found by Mosquera on the cross, Trossard at times, hitting the post as well. A lovely scissor kick at one point. And then a header, which wasn't to be, destined for the net. It was the right header. He headed downwards. The ball came in from the left-hand side. He headed downwards. But defender's body was in the way. The keeper would have been beaten. In the second half, start to defend a bit and inside our box, which is interesting. Inside our half, rather. Expected substitutions come with a quieter Calafiori, who I think is itching to make a more decisive impact on games lately. He's being found less by his teammates. A couple of times Odegaard should have passed him the ball earlier when he dribbled into some great space on the left-hand side. But Calafiori was subbed off as well as Havertz. And finally Odegaard for Gyökeres, Marlo Skelly, and his name eludes me out. Hincapié, of course, who done well. Have Gyökeres, who applied some great pressure, and perhaps reminiscent of Odegaard. The way he presses, it reminds me, but he actually tackles. Now it's interesting that we don't see Odegaard and Gyökeres paired too often, or combining at this stage in the season. So, um, but you want your official number nine and number 10 at the club, or your best number nine, your best number 10 to be combining. So it'd be interesting to see how partnerships develop in attack, not just at the end of this season, but at the start of next season. And finally, Trossard coming off for Martinelli, and was it Eze coming off for? Oh, sorry, Eze coming off. Eze come off instead of Odegaard. Then Odegaard finally comes off for Zubamendi, and he didn't have to do much. Martinelli actually managed to run onto a ball. That's a very interesting sub. It's an excellent option we have off the bench. Um, right at the end of matches, right, where we're defending a lead and we're parked inside our half, and suddenly we get the ball back. We send one and fortunately was matched by pace by Kyle Walker. It wasn't as aware as he used to be. But Martinelli is our top Champions League goal scorer this season, and he holds the record for most number of champion of goals scored in consecutive Champions League matches for the Arsenal shirt. Maybe has a big part to play in the 2026 final. Either starting or off the bench, but not saying he should start over Trossard. In fact, probably the opposite. Uh, but he has an important part to play. And thinking ahead about that Champions League final match against PSG and belligerent, and fearsome threat. On the left-hand side, Kvaratskhelia, and how we might put a lid on that. I asked this question: did Mosquera show enough in defense? Attack? Oof, already mentioned. He's put in some excellent crossing in this match, and it's combined well for the most part in attack. A couple of times he was slow to release the ball in defense, and um, his shield wasn't as effective, and he lost the ball on the halfway line towards the end of the match, creating a counter attack that certainly would have been finished by PSG, if you recall that moment. I think between now and that match, Champions League final, can coach that out of him, that indecision, and knowing when to just put your foot through it. Put the ball out. But now that I mention this, I'm reminded of a moment early in the season. I think Mosquera was playing for Saliba, who was out injured, and he conceded a cheap corner, and Newcastle scored, and we had to dig deep. And it took a masterstroke of a header by the injured, our injured number 8, Mikel Merino, and then just a moment of just bullying from another from a corner this time for us to win that match, to uh, grab that victory out of the fire before the house collapsed. So I have a feeling, I have a sense of the need to try out another option at right back, or if not, I think Arteta could well be thinking after what he's seen that maybe in the final we're going to see something like Calafiori on the right and Cape on the left. Because in terms of one-on-ones, both Rice and Calafiori were excellent today. Excellent. Their position as well. I have a sense we're going to see something like that, given what we've mentioned. Let me know what you thought. Who you think you should start at right back next match. And we are out. But before we're out, I just want to mention, of course, the obvious. We are now 5 points ahead of Man City. And if Man City lose to Bournemouth tonight, even if they draw, the Premier League is ours after 22 years. Here's to that. If not, there's one more match left against Crystal Palace. And Eze, having already scored against his old side, might be instrumental in a positive result against them. So let me know what you thought in the comments below, and we are out.